What song was playing again? I don't know. I think it was still Morning Roz. I didn't feel like recording today. But you know what they say. You gotta keep working. Gotta keep diligent. Ah, man. Ugh. I'm not feeling 100% right now. I don't know why. I'm just feeling very off-key. Like, this is an interesting question. Like, this is back on topic. It's kind of nice to have this sort of, you know... Like, the thing that gets me is that apparently they've industrialized confectionery production, which is kind of unusual considering how a lot of it seems to be handmade and whatnot. Like, where are the factories for this crap? Like, it's implied they haven't even taken over the entire continent and they're just kind of futzing around with this. God damn it. I've exhausted my arms. And I've also had to deal with a lot of, like, I don't like people that are, like, slow and just mutter. And I had to deal with the voice chat because we're setting up a sort of one-off thing. And there's one person who was like, but I've been dealing with unarmed strike. And they're very slow about it. And I'm like, okay, you can be slow, you can take your time. But don't mutter in the fucking voice chat like that. Like, god damn it. Like, it makes it sound like snails, like, walking by with a fucking thing. I'm already way faster than most people, I've noticed. Apparently that's the thing I do. I eventually just go way too fucking fast for people. And that's fine! But that doesn't mean I want to hear you sputter along like a broken boat. If only because no one's talking. Like, you're talking to no one? Like, don't go in a voice chat and just talk to air. Talk to someone in particular. Like, be like, I'm gonna use this crier, like, or just keep... Like, I understand that people tend to mutter to themselves as they're doing stuff like that, but come on, you're in a voice chat, at least mute your mic. It's one button press and you're done. Like, it's a courtesy. Especially, look, other people are trying to talk, or, like, I want to watch a video, but I can't because you're constantly talking, and that interrupts things. Like, I want to lame it out with a bit of waiting, but I can't because someone might eventually talk, and you're not silent when you're not trying to talk to people. Not to mention, it's kind of distracting. Because I was trying to do some things myself, and it's very hard to do it that way. The thing that gets me is, they're talking about, like, modern technology and all, but it's kind of implied this stuff has been around for a while, so, like, dragons don't seem to be in the inventory type. They don't seem to invent or technologically progress, considering the generator stuff that's been going on. So, what the fuck was world like when he young man? Van Goeien. What a weird way to put it, but I guess it makes sense. The thing is, he makes it sound like this, but, like, you could just, like... This sounds so weird, because Dragonkind doesn't seem to have, like, massive established brands or anything. Like, there's no sense of, like, corporations or anything. Like, it all feels very... This is a business that exists specifically here and nowhere else. It's very unusual. Like, there's no, like, let's go to the McDonald's or something like that. Like, you're going to a brand location. It's almost constantly we're going to this person's... Like, where are these big businesses? It sounds like Katsuharu is upset about something that doesn't exist in a weird way. The hardships of what? You're a candy maker. I mean, regular business stress aside, Katsuharu, you're not exactly asking him to climb Mount Kuju every fucking year. God damn, you're overestimating your job. You're not an air traffic controller. You're not an engineer who has to climb into a working plane engine or something like that. You're not a guy who has to delve down into a volcano to get readings for some stupid man's research. You make freaking candy. That stuff keeps, depending on what you're making. But it keeps really well. Remarkably well. I wonder, the way he puts it kind of, like, I don't know. I've actually never seen, like, expired ice cream or anything. I don't know what the expiration dates are. I wonder if they're short. If they are, then I can understand it, because you basically were constantly busy trying to keep stock up. But if that's the case, I don't know. Like, maybe you should have started hiring someone else earlier so you have some help around the place instead of doing it on your own like this? Jesus. This feels so weird. This is just, it's so, like, the problem is that Katsuharu is an ice cream maker, and he's not even a confectioner, he just specifically makes ice cream. And the reason he has a variety of ice cream is because he tried to find the recipe. Like, something about this feels weird. Like, whoever's going to take his job is not going to have the same interest in variety, and is going to slim down stock over time, instead of experimenting. Which may in fact be part of why Katsuharu is having so many problems. Is he so busy constantly making new recipes and trying to improve? Maybe he isn't, but he doesn't sound like someone who's trying to optimize his recipes a bit, you know? Polish them up, so they're not, like, followed with steps you don't have to. Maybe bulk up production. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do with recipes to make them easier for production. At some point you run to a wall, yeah. At some point you just can't do any better. Like, you can't make a bigger, like, muffin and cut it into smaller muffins, is what I'm trying to say. Especially with ice cream, which is just a pound of slurry. You could just mass-produce it with a bigger vat. Like, that's the thing is if you need a special sort of whisking process, maybe. But otherwise, for the most part, I always imagine ice cream is just to throw some shit in a tub, and you just mix it together for a while. It isn't... Like, the way he puts it makes it sound like it's like mochi making. You wanna know what it takes to make fucking mochi? You got a guy who's, like, going with his hammer real fast, another guy throws, like, little bits of water on it, putting his hand on the hammer. That's art. That's dedication to the art. You're making ice cream. You don't even have a hammer. Oh man, that's just so impressive. You gotta look at that, man. I think it's mochi making. And the one guy, like, they go ha ha ha, and they have a perfect rhythm, and that's impressive. And that's awesome. That's not you, Katsuharu. Maybe the problems are bigger because he's an Earth Dragon, but if that's the case, just get someone who isn't. Does that imply there's a store in Tatsu Park? Like, how does Tatsu Park, a recreational park, like, that's not a logical step. I understand the idea is, okay, people go to the park and then go to the store, but that's not something that's as logical as Katsuharu seems to make it out to be. Like, the thing that gets me is Katsuharu is... I think he's not that into it. Like, he seems to be... He's the kind of person that's like... Let me put it like this. He's starting to lose his wisdom stat a bit. He's starting to lose connection with the world, and he's getting lost in his own world. It's entirely possible he's overblowing a lot of problems, and is just kind of losing touch with reality. Because the fact that he's like, this spot is great, and it's like, but this spot isn't great anymore. You literally just said everyone is going to Tatsu Park, and the people are lazy, and you can't put one and one together anymore? God, like... Also, for the last 40 years, he's been doing this for 40 years! You can't, like... Ah, man! I love how... Oh my god, like... I get the feeling that if it was anyone but Katsuharu, it would have gone faster. Because he really comes across as a little bit slow in the uptake on things. Like... Connections aren't forming that should be. And he's very old in his manners. Like, I want to keep it to myself instead of giving it to the world. Like, the least you could do is, like, write something. Why is my eye bumping? Why has it been doing that so much today? Why does it do that? Ah! My eye's throbbing. But like a very specific spot, too. Give someone a look at that, maybe. I was going to stop here, but I think I'm going to go a little bit longer. Because I want to turn on the new music and feel better about myself. God damn it, it's like instantly happy. This thing gets me. Because this sounds like an important scene! You want to know what's not fun? A character going, man, I can't believe you talked me into that one, and we never get to see that. You know what would have been great? Seeing that conversation, because it would have been developing of the character. Like, okay, this is where he stops. This is where Katsuharu draws the line and comes along. Nope. None of that, for no reason. It's a little bit different, but it comes down to the same thing. This place stole my customers. Why should I go here? Fun fact, I don't think that if Tatsu Park is what it is, I don't think Katsuharu can just open up shop. Doesn't Emma eventually show up? Pretty sure she actually complains about that. She probably does, because it's a very valid point that needs to be addressed. I just love how Katsuharu is just so slow about it. She's just like, really? Like, I understand that he primarily studied to learn how to make, but you'd think that in 40 years, someone would have given him some tips on sales tactics. I want to make more characters, like one I made a moment ago. I made a character that is a Shark Soul Slayer, but better said, a person in that body. Because there's something fun about the idea of a character that's really not the role they're supposed to be. I made a couple of tweaks, mostly the mental stats, but I'm keeping the physical. So it's a healer that's also very buff, for no real reason. It's an interesting twist, and I like that idea. And I need to embrace more unusual layouts of character stats, and negatives, just negatives in general. But always I'm like, I want to get the skill point so I can do the thing. And I need to start letting that go. I need to start going with, this is a character, and this is where that character would logically grow towards. And use the base stats as a foundation for that. But it's hard. It's hard. It takes some getting used to. Especially when every single fucking person in the party has plus 15 worth of, as at least plus 10 worth of modifiers, which is kind of harsh. It's like, really? Oh man, I gotta work with that. I hate the throbbing of my eye. It's not that annoying, but it keeps making my part of my vision go bloop. Also, if I make mistakes with the context like these, do mention it. You can help me with that. I just love how Katsuharu is... Like, it's interesting that he's an artist, but he kind of stumbled into the business and had an easy going. Like, you can't really feel for him, because a lot of people have to fight for their business and their craft, and Katsuharu just gets his craft handed to him, which is, oh. Like, if anything, this is a moment of comeuppance, where you're like, yeah, you gotta learn to work like us, Katsu. I don't know. Where did you call it? Oh, different types. I thought it was desperate. I always go to that first. I think I'm gonna go downstairs to see if my eyes actually throbbing, because this is getting weird. Oh wait, I forgot. So, when it's a long A, as we call it, I think you're supposed to do both. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. We'll finish this up next time. Yeah, a bunch of different characters start showing up at this point. We'll go through all of them, because they're all cameo characters, and I think they all deserve a little moment in the spotlight as we go along. I think I've shown every cameo character that's shown up so far, if only to point out their designs, which is, you know, at the very least you get another little moment in Shun. Especially Lorem. I don't, like, at this point, like, I love always going back to the question, what would I make Ophinia do in these situations? And I'd be like, well... Why are so many characters, A, all part of this? Like, why are so many characters part of this ice cream brigade? And what would I make Ophinia do if she was, like, a medium or a full Dateline? I still don't know. I think that's a question I could never answer and be permanently satisfied with, because my opinion tends to change. What would I have Ophinia do as, like, a medium date, where I could just kind of bramble on about things? I'll probably ever talk about the ephemerality of experiences in life. The people tend to misprioritize certain things in life. You know, everyone takes pictures, but at the same time, they're numbing their senses to reality. They're not taking a moment to hold their breath and really listen to the sounds of reality, absorb, and sharpen themselves. They're all dulled. Even if they're not like sitting behind computers, they're just dulled. They don't bother to feel their skin, feel themselves, where they are, how they are. It'd be a nice moment from a character who's otherwise completely bonkers. But it makes sense, because that's kind of her angle. You don't like her angle. I heard it's very obtuse.